Hi, how are you doing? Pretty good. This time I'm gonna be asking you some questions related to traditions, costumes, good and bad manners, and proverbs, okay? Okay. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Here we go, let's get started. The first question is gonna be, what's your favorite tradition? Well, let's see, my favorite tradition is actually a holiday. It's Christmas. And the reason I like it is because this is a holiday where I can have the opportunity to get together with most of my family members. You know, we make special dinners on that day. We can spend the night together. Sometimes, you know, some of my relatives who are living outside the country, they come over to visit. We give gifts to each other, and it's a pretty good opportunity to spend some quality time with my family members, and that's the reason Christmas is my favorite tradition. Okay, and tell me, when it is celebrated? When is it celebrated? Well, Christmas is celebrated on the 25th of December. Actually, it's on December 24th at midnight. Actually, that is when Christmas is celebrated, on December 24th. Now, what sport is considered a traditional sport in your country? Well, sports, I think soccer. Soccer is considered a traditional sport here. It's played by almost everyone here in Colombia. We can also mention boxing. It's more popular among all adults, not with the young people. It's not very popular among young people, but boxing is also considered a national sport here in Colombia. Now, and what handicrafts are traditionally made? Well, we have quite a few of them. For example, we make small little statues of India Catalina, and they are traditionally made. Some of them are made right here in Cartagena, and some of them are made in the towns that are near Cartagena, you know, places such as Turbaco, Maria la Baja. So all these handicrafts are brought here to Cartagena, and they are sold here. Sometimes by local people, sometimes by, you know, people who come over to, you know, make some money here in the city. What kind of traditional games are played? Well, that's a pretty interesting question, because I remember playing hide and seek. I think hide and seek is one of those games that are traditionally played here in Colombia. And now tell me, what is one thing you shouldn't miss on a visit to Cartagena? Well, if you ask me, one thing you shouldn't miss on a visit to Cartagena would definitely be Rosario Island. It's a must to go there, because we have one of our most beautiful beaches are over there. We have the aquarium where you can see all these the dolphin shows and everything. It would be a good idea to visit San Felipe Fortress, La Popa Hill. You should definitely take a walk around the walls, which are, you know, pretty romantic and pretty interesting. Another thing would be, I don't know, to take a ride on the carriages, you know, los coches. That would be pretty interesting and kind of like exciting too. Alright, and what about your national anthem? I mean, when is it sung? Well, it is usually sung twice a day, at 6 in the morning and 6 p.m. And it's usually sung or played when before a president gives a public speech, or before some important celebration such as a soccer match, or, you know, some important national event. So it's usually played or sung in those occasions when we're celebrating some national event, or some important match or sport or something like that. Okay, what about your favorite dish? What's your favorite traditional dish? Let's see, my favorite traditional dish would be, I mean, I must say bandeja de pescado. That's absolutely my favorite dish. Okay, it's funny you mentioned that, because I love it too. Can you describe how bandeja de pescado is made? Well, yes. Well, it is made with fish, of course. It's fried fish. It is made with rice, usually coconut rice, and some vegetable salad. That's how bandeja de pescado is usually made. That's right. And what is it served with? Well, sometimes it is served with agua de panela. That is what we traditionally eat when they have scallop with. Some people eat it with some soda. Sometimes it is served with avocado. Sometimes it's acceptable, to eat it with avocado, but it's usually served with agua de panela or some portion of vegetable salad. Okay, and is there a national costume that you can describe? Yes, well, we have what we call abarcas. They are, kind of shoes. They look pretty much like sandals. Good, and when is it worn? Well, we don't really have any special occasions to wear them, but most people, most of the people who wear these kind of sandals, they wear them they wear them whatever they want. It's something they wear like to take a walk around or to go to visit someone over or something like that. There isn't actually a special occasion to wear abarcas. You can wear them almost anytime you want to. What about your national sports? Are they played by both men and women? Well, yes, absolutely, yes. Soccer, as you know, is played by both men and women, and same thing happened here in Colombia. We both, men and women, we both play soccer. Is there any traditional folk music? Yes, there is. We have cumbia, and that is one of our traditional folk music. All right, and where is it played? Where is it played the most? Well, it's usually played in some of the towns that border all the Caribbean coast of Colombia. Towns or cities such as Barranquilla, Cartagena, I think in Monpós too. Basically in all those cities that border the Caribbean coast of Colombia. All right, pretty good. Now, let's move on to a different topic. Let's talk a little bit about behavior, okay? Behavior. What behaviors are considered acceptable in your country? Can you mention a few of them? Okay, let's see. Good behaviors. Not cutting in life is acceptable. Giving up your seat when you are, for example, riding on a bus and a girl or an elderly person or a child gets into the bus. It's considered good manner to give up your seat to that person. Another thing is to shake hands when you meet someone for the first time. It's also considered good manner. Not pointing at people, not speaking in public places such as the movies. That is considered. Not speaking out loud in those places. Places such as movies or a reunion. Not answering your phone while you're having a class or you are in an important meeting or something is also considered a sign of good manner. Now, can you offend people by showing affection in public? Like kissing or holding hands in public? Well, I wouldn't say that you can offend people by showing affection in public, especially if you are in places such as the walls, for example. That's pretty common over there. However, people might stare at you for kissing in public or especially not for holding hands. Holding hands is okay, but maybe if you start like making out, kissing in public with your partner or your couple or something, people might stare at you for doing that. But I don't think they will get offended by that. I don't think so. All right, and what might happen if you walk around barefoot? Well, it depends, if, for example, if you walk around barefoot at a shopping center, of course people are going to stare at you like, what's wrong with you, People might think that like something is wrong with you. But if you are like, I don't know, next door or you're couple of houses away from your house, maybe getting something at a store, and you decide to go there barefoot, I think it would be okay, But if you are far away from home, like in a public place or on a I don't know, on a different place from your neighborhood where nobody knows you, people might stare at you and they might think there is something wrong with you. Okay, and is it acceptable to tip cab drivers? Yes, it's acceptable, but not mandatory. I mean, that's not something you are expected to do. It's entirely up to you whether you want to tip cab drivers or not. Here is not really a custom. I mean, you just pay for the cab fare, the money, and that's it. You're not supposed to tip cab drivers here. At least you're not expected to. It's totally up to you. But if you do it, it's also acceptable. Is it acceptable to bargain in stores? Or when is it acceptable? When is it acceptable to bargaining in stores? When is it acceptable to bargain? Well, here, bargaining with street vendors is acceptable. It's actually a custom. We always bargain when we are, with street vendors. But if you go to a big store, like a chain, shopping center or something, it's not acceptable to bargain in those places. So, but if you go to I don't know, the local market, or you want to buy something on the street, like at a food stand or with some street vendors, it's acceptable to bargain with those people, but definitely not at a shopping center or a chain store. It's not acceptable in those cases. And what do people think about going to a party uninvited? I mean, without an invitation. Well, that is considered a bad manner, especially if you're talking about like a formal invitation for a wedding or something like that. But if it is someone you know, maybe a friend of yours, and they're celebrating like a party or something, and you feel like going, that would be good. But if it is like a wedding or something, showing up uninvited would be considered bad manner. What's customary to do when you go to a wedding reception? Well, here it's customary to bring a gift, or to dress nicely, to dress up according to the occasion. But it's absolutely customary to bring a gift. Now, can you think of some advice to show good manners when you're visiting someone's home? Well, some good manner would be to call before you show up. Sometimes it's a good idea to bring like a present, like a small one, a box of chocolate or something like that, to show affection and also respect. Okay, now next, imagine that you've moved abroad and answer the following questions. You've moved away from your house, you're living in another country or in another city or something like that. How would you answer the following questions? For example, would you jump at the chance to live in another country? Well, if I ever had the opportunity to move to a foreign country, and I had like the conditions, like a place where to live and something to do there, I would go for it, definitely. I wouldn't give it a second thought. I would just go for it and move abroad. All right, now, if you had the opportunity to live somewhere else, where would it be? Well, if I ever had the opportunity to live somewhere else, I mean, in a different country, I would like to live in the United States. Okay, now, what would be the first thing you would do after moving to a new city? Well, the first thing I would do, let's see, I would try to become familiar with the laws, with the custom over there. I would try to, get to know the place and how to get around. I would try to find out about places to have fun and something like that, stuff like that. Okay, and what would you miss about home if you moved abroad? Well, if I ever moved abroad, I think I would definitely miss the food, my family, of course, and our customs. Now, what would you take with you if you move away from home? Well, if I ever moved away from home, I think I would take, I don't know, some pictures of my relatives, my pet. I would love to take my little dog with me. All right, now, what would you take with you to remind you of home? Well, let's see. I would like to take some pictures of my relatives, some, I don't know, traditional clothes, such as, like sombrero volteados or navarcas or something like that. Would you try to learn the language before moving to a new country? Yes, I would definitely try to learn the language, of course. That would be a must if you want to do well in another country. especially when a country where English is spoken. I would try to learn the language before moving there. Okay, and would you feel homesick? Well, at times I think I would. That is absolutely normal. Especially, here in Colombia we have this kind of like habits or costume. I don't know. We are used to spending a lot of quality time with our family members, so I think I would feel homesick if I ever moved to a different country. Would you enjoy living in a different culture? Yes, I would definitely enjoy living in a different country, of course. That would be funny. I mean, that would be fun, like getting to know other people, learning about other culture, other costumes. That would be nice. I would definitely enjoy living in a different culture. Do you think living in another country would be exciting? Yes, 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 I think so. It would be a real challenge to, get used to the new culture, laws, and stuff like that. It would be a great challenge, and it would be also exciting too. How would you keep in touch with everyone back in your country? Well, the easiest way to keep in touch with the people I'm living back in my country would be through video calls, on the internet, phone calls also, but I think I would try to keep in touch with them through video calls or something like that. Alright, now, and finally, a few questions about proverbs. Now, let's talk a little bit about proverbs. What is one reason people use proverb for? Well, sometimes we use proverb in order to give a little bit more of authority to any advice we give to someone. Like, you want to prove them, you want to show them, you want to find a way to show them that what you're saying is just common sense. And it's not just your opinion, but it's just common sense. So that is one of the reasons most people use proverb for, to give a little bit of authority to whatever they are saying. By the way, what's your favorite proverb? One of my favorite proverbs, there is one that I really like, and it's kind of funny, which goes like this: those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. And what does it mean? Well, it means that if you are before criticizing someone for doing something wrong, you should analyze, you should take a look at yourself and see if you're not doing the same thing. Otherwise, it would be pointless to point out that flaw in your partner or your friend when you're doing the same thing. Ah, good. Now, why do you like it? Why do you like this proverb in particular? I like it because, sometimes when it comes to criticizing people, when it comes to pointing out other people's flaws or errors or mistakes, I like to analyze myself first and before doing some bad criticism. And that's the reason I like this proverb, because it helps me remember or it reminds me to not to criticize, especially when I'm doing the same thing. That's the reason I like it. Okay, and what does the proverb remind you of? What does it make you remember? Well, this proverb makes me remember of those people who, they keep criticizing you. If you do something, whatever you do, either it is good or bad, they keep criticizing you, even though they are doing exactly the same or even worse. And it's pretty funny because, you shouldn't criticize somebody else when you're doing something even worse.